threat that has come from Hamas terror group is of another terror strike, and they've called it Tufan al-Aqsa.
Today we have some shocking events that have unfolded at Jerusalem's most revered site, the Dome of the Rock. Nestled within the sacred complex of al-Aqsa, this historically significant location has once again become the epicenter of controversy and violence. Get yourself ready for a shocking revelation. A shocking incident that will send shockwaves across the globe and potentially shatter the delicate balance of peace in the region. What cataclysmic event transpired at this hallowed ground? And what does it mean for the future of Israel and the realization of biblical prophecies?
The war of words between Israel and the United Nations continues.
But first, let's take a moment to understand why this particular site is so significant and, dare we say, controversial. Jerusalem, a city that holds deep meaning for Jews, Muslims, and Christians, is home to the Temple Mount, a hill that is considered sacred to all three faiths. However, this holy site has also become a source of intense conflict and violence, with both Palestinians and Israelis claiming ownership. The tension has been rising steadily over the years, and in 2022 it reached a boiling point when a series of attacks by Palestinians and Israeli Arabs resulted in the deaths of 17 innocent Israelis, marking the worst bloodshed since 2006. But wait, there's more. A recent event that unfolded at the al-Aqsa mosque compound, which forms part of the Dome of the Rock, was nothing short of shocking and deeply disturbing. Picture this. It all took place during Ramadan, a sacred month for Muslims. Masked Palestinians who had taken shelter in the compound overnight started a full-blown assault, bombarding Israeli police officers with stones, firecrackers, and various projectiles. The police responded with tear gas, stun grenades, and even batons. Talk about a fierce clash. Undeterred, the Palestinians then took refuge within the mosque, locking themselves in and continuing their stone-throwing spree. Not ones to back down easily, the Israeli police launched an operation to storm the mosque compound and apprehend those who had barricaded themselves inside.
This sparked protests and a violent crackdown by Israeli authorities with multiple casualties.
However, the operation was far from smooth, resulting in about 160 injured Palestinians, including a guard who was shot in the eye with a rubber bullet. Shockingly, among the injured were 4 women, 27 children, and 1 journalist, as well as a few police officers, one of whom was in critical condition. But here's the real mystery. Why did the Palestinians break a previous agreement that forbade anyone from staying overnight in the compound during Ramadan? And why did they take such a reckless gamble with their lives and the lives of others? Well, it all boils down to their deep-seated fear. A fear that Jews might one day usurp control of the sacred Temple Mount, potentially leading to their eviction from a place that holds immense religious significance for them. But here's what we need to uncover. Is this fear justified? Is this level of violence truly necessary? And most importantly, is there any hope for a peaceful resolution to this seemingly endless conflict? To fully comprehend the answers to these pressing questions, we find ourselves compelled to explore what makes this place so sacred to both Jews and Muslims. Brace yourself for a journey through history, woven with religious fervor and enigmatic layers of conflict. The journey begins around 1000 BCE, when King David, the ruler of Israel, successfully conquered Jerusalem, making it his capital. Ever the visionary, King David dreamt of constructing a magnificent temple to house the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred chest containing the 10 Commandments. And so he chose Mount Moriah, now known as the Temple Mount, as the site for this grand temple. His son, Solomon, took up the mantle and spent 7 years building the temple, a structure of unparalleled beauty that became a center for worship and sacrifice. Tragedy struck after Solomon's demise. The kingdom fell into disarray, and eventually the Babylonians invaded, obliterating the temple and forcing the Jewish people into exile. A devastating blow, no doubt. But the Jewish people, resilient as ever, clung to hope and rebuilt their beloved temple upon returning to their homeland. Tragically, history had a cruel twist in store for them once more, as the Romans, during the First Jewish-Roman War in 70 CE, razed the temple to the ground. Since then, the temple has never been fully reconstructed, but a portion of it remains, the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall, a sacred site where Jews congregate to pray and connect with their faith. For Muslims, the Temple Mount is known as Haram al-Sharif, which translated means the noble sanctuary. It holds immense significance, ranking as the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina. It is believed to be the site from which the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the miraculous night journey, also known as Isra and Miraj. This event stands as a profound spiritual milestone for Muslims, illustrating the Prophet's proximity to God and inspiring believers around the world to follow in his righteous footsteps. The visually stunning Dome of the Rock was erected to commemorate this sacred event. But here lies the crux of the matter. Both groups, Jews and Muslims, possess resolute claims to this site, and both groups harbor deep-rooted sentiments regarding its future. For Jews, it represents the place where they are eager to build their long-awaited Third Temple, an event said to play a pivotal role in the arrival of the Messiah. Now, we would like to pause you and ask you to like and subscribe to our video if you find it informative. Now, coming back, let's take a trip back in time to 638 CE, a game-changing year for Jerusalem. The Islamic Caliphate, led by Umar the al-Khattab, took control of the city, profoundly influencing its culture, architecture, and religion. The Muslim presence became deeply embedded in Jerusalem's fabric, leading to a thriving center of Islamic civilization. Incredible architecture and infrastructure emerged, including the iconic Dome of the Rock. However, as with any good story, there was a dramatic twist in 1099 CE. The Crusaders stormed into Jerusalem during the First Crusade, overthrowing Muslim rule and establishing Latin Christian control. This shift brought about major religious and social changes in the city. The Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem was born, setting a whole new course for Jerusalem's story. But hold on, because in 1187, everything changed yet again. Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, managed to snatch Jerusalem away from the Crusaders, flipping the script once more and placing the city back into Muslim hands. It was a true tug-of-war situation, with power constantly shifting back and forth. The Crusaders thought they could reclaim Jerusalem not once, but twice during the period from 1229 to 1244. Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II struck a deal with the Ayyubid Sultan al-Kamil in 1229, giving Christians a taste of control. However, their reign didn't last long, as the Muslims rallied back and recaptured Jerusalem in 1244 at the Battle of La Forbe. In an intentional move to weaken Jerusalem's defenses, the Muslim rulers decided to tear down the city walls in 1250. They wanted to ensure that the Crusaders couldn't easily walk in again. The Mamluks took charge in 1260 after defeating the Mongols at the Battle of Ain Jalut, leaving their mark on the city. They implemented various administrative changes and architectural projects to reflect their power and influence. In 1517, another invasion occurred when the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Selim Firmur, captured Jerusalem from the Mamluks. The Ottomans also left their imprint on the city, with Suleiman the Magnificent restoring the city walls between 1538 and 1541. His goal was to create a lasting legacy. But alas, empires don't last forever. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the British Mandate took its place. This sparked a conflict between the Jewish and Arab communities in Palestine, resulting in Israel declaring independence in 1948. The subsequent wars divided Jerusalem, with Jordan occupying East Jerusalem, including the Old City, and Israel occupying West Jerusalem. The The division made it difficult to access holy sites like the Temple Mount. Then, in the infamous Six-Day War of 1967, Israel captured East Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. While they respected the religious sensitivity of the site, allowing the Islamic Waqf to manage it, tensions remained high as both sides claimed sovereignty. And this brings us to the present, a time of ongoing conflicts and a story that is still unfolding. Now, let's dive deeper into the significance of the Dome of the Rock for Muslims. This impressive architectural wonder was built by Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik between 685 and 691 CE. Inside the dome, there is an inscription that tells us the exact date of its completion, 72 AH, which corresponds to 691-692 CE in the Gregorian calendar. The dome stands proudly on an elevated platform, dominating the skyline with its octagonal shape and golden roof. It has a diameter of approximately 65 feet and rests on a circular drum supported by 16 piers and columns. Inside, a circular arcade with 24 piers and columns surrounds the sacred rock, which is partly exposed and protected by a railing. A staircase leads to a natural cave under the rock. The outer walls of the dome are also octagonal, each measuring about 60 feet wide and 36 feet high. To bring in natural light, these walls feature windows on both the dome and drum walls. The dome is adorned with exquisite mosaics, metal plaques, and Arabic inscriptions, showcasing its beauty and significance. Throughout history, the Dome of the Rock has undergone several changes and restorations by different Islamic dynasties. During the Crusader period, a wrought iron screen was installed around the rock to prevent Christian pilgrims from accessing it. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment.